Welcome back to Cooking with Bill. We're going to do a real short video for you today on things you might need in your kitchen. Now, tons of things you can have, tons of things. I see monstrous amount of stuff that people buy for their kitchen, but really you can get by on a few good things. So we're going to start out with the obvious, some knives. Paring knife, very short knife, good for cutting fruits and vegetables. It's good for peeling. It's good for a lot of things. You want a good quality paring knife. Keep it sharp. Again, I talk about knives all the time. Keep them sharp. Don't let them be dull because you tend to get hurt when they get dull. Next is a chef's knife. Chef's knives can run anywhere from about 9 inches to probably, I think, about 16 inches. 10 inches is usually a good size for most people. This is a Wüsthof. It's out of Germany. But again, you don't have to buy one this caliber. You can buy one at one of your local stores. Could be a $20 knife. You just want it to keep a good edge, okay, to be sharp. But you can look on Marketplace. You can look at other places. People are selling these, sometimes used. Just take them to somebody, get them sharpened the first time, and then you can look at possibly getting a sharpener for your home if you can't afford to go out and have them professionally sharpened. Another tool I recommend, instant read thermometers. Now with an instant read, you turn it on, it has Celsius and Fahrenheit, stick it in the meat. You've seen me do this with a brisket. It tells you immediately what that point is in temperature down in the meat. So this is a good way to check your temperatures before you finish cooking. Now there's a secondary type of thermometer that if you want to get a little fancier, these are infrared thermometers, and you point them at the surface, point them at the outside of the meat, point them at the inside of your refrigerator, check a temperature. You can actually, if you have a buffet sitting out, you can start pointing at stuff on the buffet to see if it's starting to get too cold. Again, all for food safety, okay? So that's what you can use for that. Another one that's a little bit different is called a microplane. A microplane is used for a lot of things. Now, if your mom or your grandmother, your great-grandmother used to have in their kitchen, thing looked like a little pyramid and had different size of these plane or cutting parts on it, and they were used for shredding cheese or other things like that, making coleslaw. Well, today they've also made microplanes, and these are used when you're trying to do putting a zest on your food or in your food. So if you're using lemons or limes or oranges, you can sit here and zest them on here, and it just gets the outside part of it. You can also use these for ginger. You can use them for garlic. It's a great thing to have in your drawer when you're doing cooking. So microplanes, they come in different sizes, different widths. Pick which one you like. Two more expensive things that we have a sous vide. Now a sous vide, that's this thing here. A sous vide is basically a water bath heater. Okay, now, I'm not recommending one over another, but a sous vide, if you think about a fish tank, you have to heat the water, so you put a heater in it and it keeps the water and keeps it at a certain temperature. Well, that's what a sous vide is doing for cooking. So with sous vide, what you'll do is you'll get a pot of water or a container of water. You'll put the sous vide on, you'll set the temperature, and then you'll put your meat in there. So suppose you're doing a steak. You would take a Ziploc bag of a steak, or you'll take a seal meal kind of steak, put it down in the water. When you turn it on, you say, I want it to get to 140 degrees, a medium rare. Well, you just leave it. When it hits 140 degrees, you don't even have to be back. It'll keep it at 140 degrees constant. When you get ready to eat, you pull the bag out, you unzip it, you put it on the grill, get some grill marks, and you're done. Now, the difference with using a sous vide is it keeps that temperature at 140. It doesn't keep increasing the temperature of the meat, right? So you're at medium rare. If you're doing this on a grill, as you've had when you've done grilling or if you've gone to a restaurant, that grill can actually burn the top or even cook things to a medium well when you're getting that medium rare in the center. So this is a good way to have full temperature across. Also, when you want to reheat, same process. You take that steak out of the fridge, you zip it in a Ziploc, or you put it in a seal meal kind of bag, put it down in the water bath, turn on your sous vide, and it'll bring the temperature back up to 140 degrees, doesn't overcook it, and you're right back to where you were the other day. Now, fancy restaurants use these all the time. They will do a block of steaks or a block of prime rib that they've already cooked, and they will bring them back up to temperature and then they will put them on the grill just to give you some grill marks. That's how they get such a good steak every time, okay? So, something to think about, sous vide. If you watched my pasta video, you saw this. This is a pasta maker. This one happens to be by Atlas. Now, Atlas, the Atlas 150 is an older version. You can find these all over the place, but you can also get attachments. So if you have a KitchenAid mixer like you've seen on some of my shows, you can get an attachment to do pasta. These are great. It makes a very simple way to do pasta. Again, getting a little more expensive. They're probably a couple $100 when you get them. You might find them used for $25 online. So just make sure you check it out before you buy it, but they're an excellent thing to have. Now that KitchenAid mixer is also something that's nice to have. A stand mixer is always a good thing if you're doing a lot of breads or if you're doing a lot of baking. So I recommend getting one. Now you can buy them new. They're $200 to $500, but you can also see them used all the time for $25, $50. Somebody's getting rid of an older version to get a new version. So just look for those opportunities. If you don't have the money now, save up some, wait for something to come up used on the market. I see them off and on all the time. I even see them at used stores from time to time. Okay, now, another thing that you should have, if you don't have, cast iron skillet. Now they come in different sizes. They come from very tiny all the way up to large skillets like this one. I recommend having at least one of these larger skillets in your set of tools because you can pan fry, you can broil in it, you can put it in the oven, you can put it on an open fire, you can do whatever you want. They're indestructible, and if you've kept them seasoned correctly, now seasoning is a process where once you've cleaned the pan completely, you put a little bit of oil on it and you bake that oil into it using an oven. Now you can look that up on YouTube, but it makes them non-stick, really does. And so you can use those just like these cheaper non-stick pans, but you can find these used all the time on the market. Now they're not going to be cheap because of all these people watching cooking shows. People want them, but they're not going to be outrageous if you're getting a used one. If you happen to get one that looks like it's been left out in a barn for a long time or out in the rain and it's rusted, don't worry about it. You can take some steel wool, you can take salt and a little bit of water, scrub it, it'll knock all that rust off. Then you go through that tempering process where you're going to seal in using that oil. And once it's seasoned, you're good to go. You can pass these down for generations. So I would use one of those. Another tool that you've seen me use in a lot of shows is one of these gloves. Now these are called the UV glove. I do recommend these. These are great. My daughters have gotten me these. Okay, you can pick up just about anything with these. They're hot. I use them picking up briskets. I use them picking up hot pans. Absolutely saves your fingers. But if you get brisket on them, don't throw them on the ground or your dogs will chew them up. And that's what mine did. So sad. The last tool I'm going to show you right now, and probably the most important tool you have, spoon. Yes, a spoon. If you watched when I did a ginger demonstration on one of my videos, this is the fastest way to peel a piece of ginger. It really is. You can sit there and you scrape against the ginger comes right off. If you're using a peeler, you're using a knife, you're going to waste a lot of ginger. Spoon. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about, well, it's never the last thing, but the last thing for this video that I want to talk about. Food. Now, when you're preparing food, cleanliness, guys. You see me cleaning the counters, cleaning my hands, doing all this. Cutting boards, keep them separate. You have a meat cutting board, you have a vegetable cutting board. Don't cross-contaminate between the two. If you ever watch cooking shows, you'll see the same thing. So your meat cutting board is made for meat, your vegetables are made for vegetables. Keep two of them. It's not expensive. You can get them cheap at the store, okay? Put them through your dishwasher, scrub them well. You don't want any bacteria living on those boards because then it'll just transfer to whatever else you're cooking, right? Speaking of bacteria, thinking about your food. Expiration dates on your food are there for two reasons. One, it is to have you buy food more often. No, I'm teasing. I guess marketing-wise, it can be. But when you have canned foods, those expiration dates are mainly to tell you when the food is at its peak in nutrition and flavor, right? I'm sorry, my grandmother had food canned for years and it was fine. The main thing she used to say is, check to see whether the can is damaged, if it's bulging, if it doesn't look right, okay, throw it away. If you open it up and it doesn't look right, doesn't smell right, throw it away. It didn't cost you enough to make you get sick from. As far as foods that you're getting that are fresh foods from the store, getting chicken, getting beef, getting milk, whatever, again, use your senses. If it doesn't look right or if it doesn't smell right, don't eat it. Now, some people will say some things just don't smell right anyway. Well, you wouldn't have bought those, okay? When you're looking at fish, fish should smell like the water it came from. If you got it from an ocean, it should smell like it's briny and ocean. If it's from a pond, it'll smell clean like a clean pond water would smell. If it's stinking, and you say, this is stinking fish, don't eat it, okay? Give you an example. I was getting ready to do some red beans and rice, and about a week ago I went over to the store and I bought the chicken thighs and I bought the sausage. Life got ahead of me, didn't get to it. So yesterday I opened it up and I was getting ready to cook it. And I cut open the package and I went, that's not quite what I was expecting for a smell. Now, it wasn't nasty, but it was just enough to make me go, I looked at the dates. I was about 5 days past on the dates. With chicken, nah, you're not going to play that game, okay? So I threw it away, got new, made it, we are fine. But it's not worth risking your health to save a few dimes, okay? Get rid of it, go buy something else. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about. Help somebody out. Right now you've been able to watch these videos. I don't charge for them, thank goodness, right? Nobody would pay for these, but I don't charge for these. You watch these, you have some entertainment. There are people out there that for the first time in their life, they're going to pantries to get food, okay? And I don't mean in their house. They're going to the various food pantries around different cities. They're going to their churches for food, okay? Help out. If you've got extra food in your house that's not something that's dated, that is really, really old, if you've got something that you can provide them to eat, do so. If you don't have that and you have a few coins in your pocket, provide them to the food pantries, okay? Provide them to the churches and say, look, donate this to somebody that needs food, okay? We're all in this together. So take that money that you were going to use on your vacation, take a little snip of it and give it to the food pantries so that they can supply food for all those people that aren't even able to make it these days, okay? A little bit serious for the morning, right? But I just thought I'd put that out there. So, thanks for listening. We'll have more shows coming up. This is Cooking with Bill, and we'll see you back in the kitchen.